What's up, everybody? It's Chris Ortega back with another Fresh CFO Fridays. I'm really excited today. Man, it is May 12th. May 12th. Time is flying. We're already almost halfway through the end of month of May. Officially, I know in some of my Fresh CFO Fridays, we talk about summertime. I think officially summertime is here. Shout out to everybody that able to join the live. If you can, drop in the live in the comments how your Friday's going, how your week is going. My week is going really, really well. It's been busy. It's been like a very I feel like Fridays got here like super fast. So hope everybody's doing well today. Welcome to this Fresh CFO Fridays. Today we're going to be talking about three proven strategies to help grow your sales funnel. For all of those, first time you're joining Fresh CFO Fridays, every Friday I get together and I talk, share some topics to help you grow your fractional CFO business. And I share everything accounting, finance, FP&A, CFO related. And a lot of the things that I've kind of gone through and continue to go through in building fresh FP&A. So happy everybody's here. And like I said before, this topic today is very, you have so many different fractional. And the cool thing is I get the opportunity to talk with a lot of fractional resources across the entire globe, right? People that are in, fractional CROs, fractional chief marketing officers. I had a great conversation with two fractional CMOs this week. They reached out to me on LinkedIn. These people have been, CMOs in their careers, and I've learned so much from them, and just like learning just inside the business and building a sales motion, and a lot of the insights, a lot of the wisdom and knowledge that I've got from a lot of the partners that I work with. Yo, what's up, Ortega? Ortega, please drop in the chat if you can hear me okay and everything looks good. That'd be awesome. And really having that opportunity to connect with people. And I think when you're building your fractional CFO business or building any business for that matter, right? Like, building your sales funnel, I think is really, really, really important. So today's fresh CFO topic that I'm going to be giving everybody today is three proven strategies to help you build your funnel. So let's jump right into it. Strategy number one is you want to create high quality content that your target audience finds valuable. So for us at Fresh FP&A, our target audience is, we provide fractional CFO and advisory services to high growth businesses. So our targets are going to be business owners, CEOs, founders, and leaders of those high growth businesses. And you really want to give them content that high quality stuff, right? Like you want to, the first piece that you want to do around this strategy is you definitely want to identify your target audience, right? Shout out to everybody in the comments. Like, drop in the comments how many messages. I don't know about you, but every day I get somewhere between 15 to 25 messages in my LinkedIn of people just DMing me, just like random stuff, right? Like one of the ones I always get as a theme is like all these appointment setters, right? And it's like, hey, you want to like work with us and we'll get you like 25 more like lead meetings, and like I'm probably not your target audience, right? Or I get people that reach out to me. I've even had like other fractional CFO companies, like bigger companies, reach out to me and they're like pushing me to buy their fractional CFO and advisory services, like or buy their business. And I'm just like, did you even do any research, right? And I was talking with a great marketer, and so many businesses they do this like it's called she said it spray and pray, right? Where you just get out all this message and you're like, I hope it lands with some people, right? But part of that first strategy is you really got to know your target audience, right? You've got to know who you're speaking to, what their pains are, what their frustrations are, what their challenges are. And like, I think that's one of the first key pillars of creating that high quality content, that whether that's videos, whether that's shorts, whether that's long form content, whether that's static content, whether that's, polls, right? You really want to make sure you know that audience, right? And then the second thing is in developing that high quality content element is you want to research the topics that are relevant, right? I think so many different times, like you could have like Chris, I talked to the great audience, but maybe you're not talking about the most important topics for that target audience, right? So specifically, like one of the key things that we were talking about for business owners, CEOs, and founders was around treasury operations, right? Like you've seen everything going on with First Republic Bank. You've seen a lot of things going on with Silicon Valley Bank. And I remember talking with our team, and I was like, look, I know a lot of business owners, CEOs, founders, irregardless if they're startup to enterprise level companies, are probably facing this challenge right now. And this is a topic that's very important to them. So let's make sure we give them resources. Let's give them a way to communicate and collaborate with us. That way we can directly help them, right? So that second piece of that first strategy of growing your sales funnel is like creating that high quality target to your audience is you want to make sure you're giving the topics that are relevant, right? I think so, and so many times people are, they may be given relevant topics, but it's sounding more like a textbook than it actually is like application, right? So you want to create, that leads to my next sub point of that first strategy is you want to create content that's informative, engaging, and like catches people's eyes, right? Like nobody in the world of, irregardless of what social platforms you're on, right? Like we're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is our primary channel. Then we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have YouTube. My marketing team is reaching out and saying, Chris, you need a TikTok. And I may get on that bandwagon, but you really want to make sure that you're creating and capturing that attention and making sure it's visually appealing, right? You want to use images, you want to use videos, you want to do infographics to break things out, you want to do carousels. There's some great like people that I see throughout all of those different platforms that are really leveraging different content. Like, there's a guy that I follow, and he never shows his face, but his content is so on point. He speaks directly to his audience. He's talking about relevant and important topics, and he does it primarily through like his voice, and just has like videos to kind of do it, right? So you want to make sure you're creating that, and then the last step is part of that strategy number one of creating that high quality content for your target audience is you obviously want to promote it, right? And I've had a lot of conversations with people, and I recommend, and it depends upon the platform that you're on, right? Like again, our primary channel, from our channel and the audience that we want to speak to is LinkedIn. So typically, LinkedIn is where we land, and then we expand to the other social media platforms. I had somebody challenge my thinking, and I was like, well, I don't think a business owner or CEO or founder of scale up startup high growth company is going to be like finding me on Instagram and be like, oh, I need to reach out to that Fresh FP&A team and learn more about them, right? That is changing a lot, and some people may say like, oh yeah, Instagram's a great place to go meet with those kind of, that audience, right? I've yet to see that. So it differs, right? But once you kind of know that audience, right? And you target that, you definitely want to promote yourself, right? You want to promote your content. You want to make sure it's on a lot of different channels, right? One thing we do is we land with LinkedIn and we expand to the other different platforms, right? So, whether that's a reel or whether that's a long form content, whether that's a blog post that we done, whether that's static content that we created, whether that's videos that I've done, or we done around that. So that is kind of like that first strategy, and that's some, like I would say, like tactics that you want to make sure you want to do, right? So the first step in helping grow your sales funnel, the first strategy in helping grow your sales funnel is creating that high quality content to your target audience. Kind of some tactics of what you want to do under those. The first one, identify your target audience. The second one is you want to make sure you're researching the topics and make sure that that's relevant. The third thing that you want to do is create engaging and visually appealing content. And then obviously the fourth one is you've done all this great work, you know your audience, you've researched the great topics, you've created some very informative, visually appealing, and awesome content. You want to promote it. So that's that first step in a proven strategy of growing your sales funnel. Let's get into the second one. The second one is you obviously want to use social to connect with that target audience, right? So That's this second strategy, right? A lot of people, like as I talked about before, right? Our primary social media strategy for us to connect with our target is going to be LinkedIn. That's changing. There's other like platforms that we're starting to leverage too, like we're part of we're ambassador for the Gardener peer community. Still haven't kind of seen like that's a great community, a lot of great leaders out there. I would highly recommend. I'll drop in the under the resources on this video so you can go find out more about like that Gardener peer community. It's really awesome. I'm an ambassador of it. Some other great leaders are part of it as well too. But you want to find that first tactic under that strategy of using social media to connect is you want to find the right platform for you, right? So I have a good friend of mine, share a personal story. A good friend of mine, his name is David Gibson. He runs a company called Elevation is a Must. And basically what he does is he provides motivational speaking, training, and empowerment to professionals so they could elevate their career, their personal life, or other aspects of their life, right? And we were having this conversation. And I was telling him, I was like, look, man, my audience is primarily LinkedIn. And he was like, tell me more about that, Ortega. So I was like, yeah, this is our strategy. This is what we do. This is how we target. This is like our content pillars. This is everything we talk about. This is how we funnel in the different content streams, right? Like whether that's videos or blog posts or articles or long form, short form content. Here's how we do all of that. And he's like, Chris, that's crazy because I have that same sort of rhythm on Instagram. Like Instagram is my platform that I think I want to speak to my audience, right? And I was like, and he was challenging me to think about like maybe Instagram could be a possible avenue to expand our Fresh FP&A business and our audience out there, right? And vice versa, it was that conversation I was having with him about expanding to his LinkedIn. And I was like, bro, you need to be on there. Like, I guarantee you in 30 days, if you post consistently, if you post, and he started seeing some results from that, right? Like he started to get a lot more conversations. He started to get a lot more, people wanting to learn more about his business. So that first tactic under that strategy is like choose the right platform for you, right? Like if you're a fitness motivator, influencer, or something around like that, probably Instagram or Facebook is good. Since we're a fractional CFO and advisory service company business, LinkedIn is our primary channel, right? And like I said, find that primary channel, land in it, crush it, and then expand to other platforms. The second tactic is you want to make sure that you're posting relevant information around that too, right? So kind of gets into that first strategy right around it is like you want to make sure that you're keeping your followers and your people engaged, right? You want to create that funnel, right? And the best way that I can articulate of that funnel is like you want people to have your content, whatever like social media platform that you're using, you want them to be able to engage in your content to ultimately like lead them down a funnel, right? Part of what and the consistency aspect of that is like people are getting the consistent message, and a lot of times it usually takes 4, 5, 6, 7 interactions before they really understand what you do, right? And that's where that content that different mediums are getting. Maybe it's video where it resonates. Maybe it's static content. Maybe it's a longer blog post because they want to be able to digest it. Maybe it's a longer video because they want to see the depth of experience that you have. Maybe it's just a very quick static post because they want to quickly understand because they're scrolling pretty fast, right? You want to be able to lead them down a funnel of a process, right? And then, typically one of the statistics that I come to find out is that when you post on any platform, most of it is going to go to your followers first, right? And most of that is going to go to a certain percentage of your followers, right? It varies on different platforms, right? Like I think Instagram, when you make a post, it goes, I think, to all your followers. When you make a story, I think it goes like 10%. There's different like reaches that it has, right? So obviously using a certain median is kind of how you want to have that reach, right? And then the third tactic around it, which I thought is a pretty cool way and a strategy of getting funnel, is like give some giveaways, some contests, right? We've done a couple of those at Fresh FP&A where it's like, hey, like jump on a quick call or like giving a giveaway around, merchandise that we just launched our Shopify store, right? It's a great way to get people to engage with your brand, right? Another thing I would recommend as well too is like that when you're looking at that strategy, you want to definitely be consistent, right? Like you want to have a consistent message, and this gets into like a really important part for fractional CFOs, right? A lot of fractional CFOs, they're probably looking at this and saying, "Chris, like I don't want to do the sales and marketing side. Like that's not my strong suit. I'm not, that's not my area of expertise. That's not my passion area." Bring on great partners, right? Like this is the you like the same way a business wants to bring you on to lead their finance organization, right? And you're like, yes, that is my passion. That is my area of excellence. That's my passion area. Like that's where I'm gonna do my best work. Same way on your side, right? Like I have partners on my side that we work with for Fresh FP&A, right? Like I have a marketing team, I have a video person, I have a blog person, I have long form video, I have resources and a team, primarily the agency that I work with that helps me get all of that stuff. And they're the experts in that, right? So I think as you're developing that, it may seem like a very daunting task to do, but the same way that businesses and companies leverage your expertise as a fractional CFO, you should be leveraging other expertise. I talk about this all the time, and I'm probably beating this to a head. And like people are like, Chris, we get it. I probably know what you're going to say next, right? The value of partnerships, right? Not just inside of finance, but outside of it is so important. And that's like when you're working in finance as well as you're running your own fractional business, your own fractional CFO and advisory business, 100% bringing on great partners, right? Like I've worked with uh there's a CMO that I work with pretty consistently that I refer out to clients. And I'm like, hey, like one of the things I really want to help where I need my team to help with is like, could we partner with you and come up with a strategic strategy around content pillars around it, right? And like, yeah, could I spend the time, energy, and effort to learn that and go look at YouTube and get myself up to speed? Or do I just go leverage an expert that has like that capacity and that's what they're passionate about? So for me, I think that is the last tactic I want to make sure people, when you're building your fractional CFO business, that you understand that is like leverage resources, right? So that second step is use the right social media channel, kind of some tactics under that. Obviously, find the right channel that's for you. Run some kind of promotional things, keep people engaged. And then the third tactic with underneath that is make sure you're leveraging partners, right? And I tell this, right? You need to be posting on any one of those platforms every single day, right? For some of them that are different, like Facebook and Instagram, I've seen it where people have that as their primary channels, and they're primarily using that. They're posting 2, 3 times a day, right? So, but it's not. I'll add another point to that. It's not about the quantity of stuff, right? It's about the quality, right? And if you have a great quality post or a great quality insight to provide, like use that versus like just pumping out like low quality like C level like content, right? Don't focus on that. All right, so moving to the third proven strategy to help grow your sales funnel. This one's a really big one. This one's a really big one for our team is offer free trials and consultations, right? I talked about this in another earlier post that I did, but this is invaluable, right? Obviously with Calendarly, we use Microsoft Bookings because we're Office 365 shop. So us being able to like integrate that exactly with our calendars and like everything set up, and it makes it a real easy workflow. I'm able to capture a lot of information already from that consultation, right? Highly recommend to create like free consultations, right? And some people look at it as like, Chris, that's just free time you're giving people, right? But you never know in that free time and that I've had it happen, right? I've had a conversation with somebody. It probably didn't turn into a sales conversation, but that person, was a great referral partner, or they, learned a little bit more about Fresh FP&A, and it may not be a fit for them, but they had somebody in their network that they were like, oh yeah, I remember talking to Chris, or I remember talking to Fresh FP&A earlier on. Like, let's get that conversation going and like pass along their resources, right? So huge value in that, but you also want to balance it, right? You don't want to have your entire week full of like 30-minute free consultations, right? I would not recommend that being a strategy because that is that honestly doesn't monetize, right? Like if you're on free calls every day, you want to get to a point where it's like, hey, hopefully I'm doing a lot of this free stuff and it turns into things, right? Um, the second thing around your free consultation and strategy, like it's everywhere on all of our socials, right? Like if you go to our website, www.freshfpa.com, like you'll see it at the very top, like book a free meeting. It's right there. It's right under like the face. As soon as you go to our website, it's like right there, schedule a free consultation. So you want to make it you want to promote that across a lot of different platforms, right? Like everywhere that I can have a link I can post anywhere, right? Around my personal socials, around my professional and business socials, around the Fresh FP&A brand. Oh, you best better believe there's like that piece of it there, right? And the reason why is you want to create as less friction from that conversation. Like, again, we talked about building that funnel, right? Like, you got somebody, they looked at your content, they're like, yep, Fresh FP&A solid, right? And now it's easy for them to kind of set up that first initial meeting. They set it up through an automated workflow. Calendars are all synced up. It sends them a calendar invite. Everything is there, right? You want to make that top of funnel and build that prospect down to the end of funnel as frictionless as possible, right? Like you want them to be able to know what you do, who you provide, what pain you solve, where can they learn more about you, how can they connect with you, and when they're ready to connect, it's an easy and frictionless process, right? Like that's the kind of fractional CFA funnel that we build at Fresh FP&A is like once you know it and you're ready, like it's very frictionless throughout that entire process, right? And that carries over once you're onboarded as a new client, right? Our onboarding process, in terms of like the things that we get, the accesses that we need, the information that we collect, very streamlined, right? So we keep that a very tight and consistent process. That's what makes the prospecting aspect of it scalable, right? And this is how you're able to get like I kind of know and kind of, have the math in my head that if I get on a conversation, I kind of know from that is like, all right, I know what next steps are. There's a lot of automation that you can build into your consultation where it's like, okay, soon as it's over, automation that we have is like, soon as the consultation over, it sends some follow up information. It sends more information about Fresh FP&A, right? It gives all of our contact information and kind of like a guide of like, here's our services, here's what we do, here's what we're about, here's more ways to contact us, all of that information around it. So that creates that entire funnel, right? And I know some organizations and I know some mentors of mine that have been running their own consulting, fractional CFO, and advisory business for 20, 30, 40 years at this point. And that is like one of the most important things is like leverage technology, make it automated, make it as frictionless as possible for somebody to know who you are, what you do, how you do it, and when can they contact you, how can they contact you, and make that entire workflow easy, right? So that is my third proven strategy around it. And I've been on calls with people and prospects, and it's like we talk about a certain topic, and it's just like, oh, Chris, like, thanks for that insight. I never thought about how we could be looking at our contract management process to make it more efficient for our sales organization. Like, thanks for that insight, right? And I'm like, sure, like, great, right? And did that lead like that's a great insight able to provide, and you never know when you could be on that free trial call or free consultation where you're getting to know partners or prospects that can eventually turn into a sales opportunity or a partner opportunity. And I firmly believe, and this is our North Star at Fresh FP&A, as long as we're utilizing our skills, passions, talents, and experiences to help others realize and achieve greatness, the funnel is going to feed itself, right? So, like, as long as we're doing that, as long as we're making that impact, as long as we're serving our clients, as long as we're delivering that value, as long as we're solving that pain, as long as we're connecting with that audience that we want to intimately speak to, it takes time, right? I'm not saying hopefully you'll see results in like overnight, but typically, that's a process that you build, right? And I've seen success with people that we've worked with, implementing that in like 30 days and they see progress or not. But it is definitely a investment that you want to make. And I think out of all these different strategies, right? In summary, the first one we talked about is creating that high quality content. right? You want to be consistent around that. Find the second strategy is making sure you find that right channel from a social media perspective that to connect with your target audience. You want to stay consistent with that. And then, the third piece of offering those free trials of your, maybe free trials or free consultation, because a lot of it is professional services that, we're giving our advisory services, right? You want to make sure that that's consistent. So the whole goal of tying that all together, consistency, right? Like you've got to show up consistently to that audience with a consistent message. Here's what we do. Here's the pain we solve. Here's who we work with. Here's where you can learn more. Here's what we're doing. Here's the value we're providing. And you're constantly just consistently articulating that message. And then also you're leveraging tools and technology and automation to make that entire funnel process as frictionless as possible for people to move through it, right? Whether that's like knowing about you, connecting with you, following up with you where they can learn more, even on like the scoping process, right? Which probably is another Fresh CFO Friday we want to do is like, hey, you filled that funnel. How do you make sure like you that next step of it where like now you're onboarding, right? Um, that's another important one. So hope everybody found value from this. And if you have, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go to our YouTube page, click the subscribe button, and click the notification bell. That way, you don't miss out on any fresh CFO Fridays in the future. And for me, as I always in every video, keep pushing, never settle, and the best is yet to come. Let's get it. Thank you, everybody, so much. Enjoy your Friday. Have a great weekend. Hopefully the weather's nice and wherever you're at, everybody's safe and well. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Friday and happy Mother's Day. Before I forget, I gotta make sure to say that. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I'm gonna be spending some time with my sister and my mom tomorrow because of course, I made the mistake, right? It's like, Chris, you didn't build a funnel for your mom, right? Like, you didn't build a funnel to go get reservations, and now Sundays is booming. But I just wanted to tell everybody, Happy Mother's Day! Shout out to all the moms out there. I know for me, sharing a personal story about me, my mom has been an inspiration of why I love finance, why I got into it, why my initials are CEO, and why I'm like living that and building Fresh FP&A. And my mom has been such an amazing part of my life, and I'm looking forward to spending that with my family. Hopefully, you get some time to spend that with yours. But catch you on the next Fresh CFO Friday. We'll be back next Friday, 12 to 12:30 Eastern time. Like I said, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to follow us. That way, you don't miss any of our content. We're posting videos every week around topics around, fractional CFO, FP&A, finance, accounting topics, building your fractional CFO business because we are living and breathing that. We're not living out of a textbook. No throwing shade to people on that one. But thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your Friday and stay fresh, everybody.